despite what anybody says, there are no other businesses operating on Gibson Island. There is no business district, full stop.
The corporation can approve a business use. It has the church and the water department. It can approve a business use, and that approval is a provision. And the provisions per subdivision team.
To be clear,
Louis,
we have never approved.
Finish my statement. You did, Louis. You sold the water facility. You sold it. You approved the county to keep running the water facility. You approved a water business. My point is that you have approved it. You may have already approved it, which you did with the stock, and you backdated it 64 days. But moving forward, if we sell this, we gave the corporation a first right. You all came back, you wrote back and said, we don't want a first right because we don't know how to run assisted living. Paraphrasing, but it's pretty close to what you said. That's not what we originally stated. That's not what we stated to Patty and Guy and David. What we stated was that you are unique because you have run hotel rooms, and you have a country club plan at the county. You could buy this property and have hotel rooms. You're the only ones that could. We couldn't. No one else could, but you all could. So if you didn't like an operator for some reason, we gave you the first right. We gave you the first right for 30 days, the first day out of the box. So that's massive control. And we did it because obviously we're in real estate. We understand that you all may want to control this. But the deeds are clear, and the deeds say that provisions are all of those things. And if you grant this, or someone says it's granted under the deeds, it runs with the land. And we're not asking for anything differently. If Anne Arundel County all of a sudden sells that water facility to somebody else, which they're allowed to do, then somebody else will run the water department, just like the church. If the church wants to sell it to another church, another entity, they can do that. I don't think you have the first right to the church. Henry only told me in an email that you had it if it went bankrupt. You certainly don't have the first right to buy the water department back. So again, not being planned to be sold tomorrow, but just like every other property on the island, Louis, if you decide to sell your house, okay, you have the right to sell your house. So you guys can say, all right, and you have said, we're not approving this, but we want these conditions, all right? But changing the deeds are very clear. Paragraph 3 and paragraph 13 are very clear that if you approve the business use, it runs with the land.
Craig, if the church ceases to be a church for 2 years, the church reverts to the Gibson Island Corporation. So that
is there an agreement, Patty, that says that, or is that written somewhere?
No, yes, there's a deed, 1947.
So we asked for that and we never got it. So we certainly would have been, able to try to fashion something after that. Now that was originally the property was given by the corporation for the church?
Yes, for $1.
So what about again, I rely on your real estate knowledge. What about the water department? If the water department all of a sudden wants to sell to somebody, you have the first right to buy it back?
I don't know the arrangement.
We were never in the water business. There was a water treatment facility. In the 1930s, Gibson Island went bankrupt. The mortgage on that was held by an insurance company. Members of Gibson Island or residents of Gibson Island went and bought that mortgage back from the insurance company so that we could regain control and recapitalize Gibson Island. And then it was turned over to Anne Arundel County. We were never, I will repeat what I said up front, we have never approved and there has never been an operating commercial business on Gibson Island.
Louis, it's an
We are considering our first accommodation for one.
And it was sold. So when you sold it, you obviously approved it. You approved the sale that someone else is going to run a water department, you're going to buy water. That's an agreement to have a business, which there is a business on Gibson Island. By the way, they store chemicals that are explosive and they don't put their trash in the dumpster. So that's a really good benchmark for us having our own dumpster. And when I learned that, that's great. That means what we did with the dumpster by taking some money off, not what we asked for, but I think we've come to an agreement on that. What we did with the dumpster makes sense because the Anne Arundel County Water Department does take their trash off. They don't put it in the dumpsters. So I felt very comfortable I could defend that if anyone said what we did with the dumpster was somehow based on discriminatory view that people didn't want Depends in the trash. Again, I think that certainly that agreement, Patty, would be helpful if you all are willing to share it. Obviously, check with your attorneys. But if they get anything else from the water department, if there's a first right to buy the water department back, all those things would be helpful. But Louis, to say that there is no business that's approved, you approved the sale, and it wasn't sell it and then don't run a water department and don't charge fees. We pay a lot of money in water.
So Lewis and the corporation stated that this is the first business they've considered. They haven't had a commercial business. That's simply not true. The company was started in 1921. By 1927, the company had put in, it was actually an ad in April of 27 where the company had put in all the waterworks required, all the electrical required, all the roads required to sell lots. They had sold 111 lots, I believe, by April 1927, April 13th, when they ran that ad. And then Gibson Island Corporation was started in 1936, and they had they owned and operated and constructed and developed waterworks, engaged in the business of supplying water upon the tract of land, aforesaid known as Gibson Island. That waterworks was then sold to Anne Arundel County. First of all, it was run from 1936 until 1951 by the corporation. And what they sold was property comprising private water system owned by the grantor and situated on Gibson Island, the existing water distribution system now serving water to the residents of Gibson Island. The existing water supply consisted of 2 deep-driven wells together with motors, and lists a whole lot of things connected with or for use in treating and delivering the water supply to customers. And you had the club, who was run since 1921. It's a business, it leases property. The boat works has been run by many different people, is now run by the club. Another business, U.S. Post Office has been a business on Gibson Island since 1932, leasing space from the corporation. And you've got the business of the Gibson Island Historical Society, which actually in 2021 generated a revenue of $104,000. It's been a business since 1968 on Gibson Island. So there are 8 businesses on Gibson Island. This is not the first one considered. The Religious Corporation Church business started in 1923, was actually sold, the building was sold to the church in 1947. So that's a third-party owned business on Gibson Island, just like the water company is a third-party owned business on Gibson Island, both obviously approved by Gibson Island. The other businesses on Gibson Island have been for a long time and have been leased.